years of the 1920s, the Great Depression was to strike Britain hard. Areas like the north of England were badly hit, nowhere more so than Stocksbridge, a town built around the steel industry where almost every family relied on the success of the business. By 1930, the number of unemployed in Britain had reached millions, and the impact for many was starvation. Around a quarter of the British population were barely existing on a poor subsistence diet. The result was increased cases of child malnutrition, resulting in scurvy, rickets, and tuberculosis. The economic crisis had turned into a social one. Local families relied on each other's kindness for survival, no more so than Fred and Frances Broadhead.
I'm sorry, lass. We can't stay here any longer. Get your things together on the barrow. We need to find somewhere else to live.
Where, Fred? There's nowhere. We'll have to camp on Daisy Bank. And what about the boys? It's no place to raise two lads.
Francis, get your things together on barrow. I'm sorry, lass. Please, just get your things on barrow. There's nothing I can do.
But what should I take, Fred? Warm clothes, pots and pans, my mother's portrait. Oh, Fred!
Come here, love.
Oh, Fred, I'm so frightened. No, don't hug me. I won't be able to cope. I'm not strong enough. Oh, why us?
Aye, lass. I know it feels wrong, but listen, love. There's millions of us in the same boat, up and down the country. I heard Mr. Steele's been off digging roads, and he was a senior metallurgist down at the works. He's had to turn his hand to manual labour. To make matters worse, their lad had been offered a position at Huddersfield College to go into business. He won't be doing that now they've no money to send him. All 'cause them bankers went crackers on Wall Street.
Mrs. Thicket found Mrs. Steele heartbroken and begging them at Co-op for a bit of bread. She's been bandaging her fella's hands for weeks because they're bleeding and infected. He still gets up to go to work. He hasn't been paid yet. How are they keeping going? How are we going to keep on going?
Come on, boys. Francis, wipe your eyes. We need to leave.
In another kitchen on West Crescent, Robert Tune reports to his wife Marion that the depression is reaching into the home of friends and neighbours.
Marion, now then, lass, I've just picked up newspaper from shop and everyone's going on about Fred and Frances Broadhead being turned out of their house. Fred has no work and can't pay the rent to Foxes. They're going to be on the street.
Oh dear, them and a lot more besides. Have you seen what's happening down at Daisy Bank? Oh dear, family after family, living on top of each other. There's no privies, and the filth. Oh, don't get me started on the filth. Oh dear. St Matthias, they've been running a soup kitchen for the past few weeks, and the queues, they're getting longer and longer. It's not so bad now, but in a few weeks' time when the clocks go back, it'll be so cold. Oh dear, it'll be like hell for them. Oh, Robert, can you imagine taking our Eric and our Flora out of our homes, living hand to mouth in a tent, freezing tent? Oh, those poor bairns.
I know, my love. It's pitiful. Father's asked Women's League to arrange another soup kitchen and see if they can get some blankets and warm clothes together. It's such a shame. Fred Broadhead's one of the nicest fellas, and he's God-fearing, even if it is with the Sally Army. I bet he's never missed a day's work in his life, and he has to go through this. I wish there was something we could do.
Before Robert can stop her, Marion puts on her coat and flies out of the door and marches down towards the village.
What the? Mrs. Tune, hang on, lass, where are you going?
Hurry
Oh,
up.
blooming hell.
Come on, hurry up. We need to find the Broadheads before we go down to Daisy Bank. Come on.
Now hang on, lass. By, they can move when they're vexed.
No, you hang on. The Broadheads are a good Christian family. They don't deserve this trouble. Oh, and you're right, I am vexed. There's Albert. Look, there's Albert. He might know where the Broadheads are heading.
Albert Tune, resident of Coronation Road, looks up from his weeding as Marion approaches.
Albert! I say, Albert!
Morning, Mrs. Tune. Hey, Robert, how's the family?
Morning, Albert. Have you seen Francis and Fred Broadhead?
They were heading towards Gibson Lane.
Oh, tar lad. Tell your Mary I'll be round later with a bit of bread.
Will do, lass.
Okay.
Blimey, Robert, she's got wind up this morning.
Aye, she's rattled.
By now, the Broadheads have loaded up their barrow and are a sorry-looking sight, walking down Manchester Road.
Robert, come on, get a move on. Francis? Francis, Mrs. Broadhead? Oh, there they are.
They've heard you, love.
Morning, Mrs. Tune. How can we help you?
By coming and staying with us at our house.
What you on with? We can't do that. There's 4 of us. Why would you want us under your feet?
Robert, we have nothing. It is my job to look after my family. We'll get back on our feet. I'll make sure of that. Come along, Francis. I will not listen to this nonsense.
Fred Broadhead, we're a good Catholic family with a home to share. Turn your barrow around, swallow your pride, and come back to us to West Crescent. Now, you do the same for us.
Please, Fred.
Francis, I've said...
Well, you can stand there all you like with your mouth open like a goldfish. I don't want to go and live in a disgusting campsite. See sense? Marion's a good friend. They want to help. Please don't take us to the campsite. Me and the lads will come, thank you, Marion. Fred can decide for himself.
Come on, lad. I've heard there's going to be some work at Dyson's farm. They can stay with us and try to get set on there. Anyway, looks like women have decided for us. They're a pair, those two. Look at them pushing that barrow, gossiping already.
Aye. They're a pair, all right. I can't believe it's come to this. All my life, shoved onto a barrow, been taken to a filthy campsite. I've worked hard to provide for Francis and the lads. It's too much to bear.
Come on, lad, you're all right. Here, wipe your eyes and come back with me. Just for a few days, see how we rub along, eh?
I've never known such kindness. I'll never be able to repay you.
No one's asking you to pay. So come on, shift your sen, and let's get kettle on. I've heard your Frances is a wonderful cook. She can help out in kitchen, and your lads are great pals with our Flora and Eric. We shall have some fun. Tell you what, if you want to pay, you can sit and listen to our Flora's daft stories. She's got more rattle than a can of marbs, that one. And she's wise beyond her years. What a character.
And what fun they had. To this day, the Broadhead family remember with fondness what Mr. and Mrs. Tune did for them. The Broadheads thrived and became well-known and well-loved members of the community. Many years later, Kevin Broadhead, grandson of Fred and Francis, went to see Flora Tune, then approaching 90 years old, in Belmont Nursing Home. He wanted to thank her once more for the kindness her family had shown his family during those dark days.
What the Tunes did for our family was remarkable. We often talk about it. I went to see Flora just before she died. She'd not been well, but the staff kindly let me have an hour with her. At first, she was a bit suspicious of me, but when I reminded her who I was, her face lit up. She recalled the wonderful parties in the living room at East Crescent. Both families loved to play instruments and sing. It's a tradition that continued with the next generations of both families. The Broadheads with the Salvation Army and the Tunes at St Anne's Catholic Church. Flora never married, and I'm sure she carried a torch from my Uncle Clifford. He used to call her Flopsy. The twinkle in her eye, she told me how they would go out dancing together, and how she thought he was as good a dancer as Fred Astaire. They kept in touch and supported each other long after the Depression. As I left, I told her how much her family meant to my grandparents, and she said, "It was such fun, and your grandparents were lovely." She said, "God bless Uncle Fred and Auntie Frances."